Welcome to Falcons TV, joined by Springfield head coach Brad Larsen and the Falcons making the Calder Cup playoffs this year, falling though in the second round against the Syracuse Crunch 4-0 in the Eastern Conference semifinal, defeating Manchester 3-1 in the Eastern Conference quarterfinal. What was the biggest difference between the two series?
Well, I think obviously the level of play increased. Manchester was a good hockey club, but and that was a tight series. We knew it was going to be tight. I felt like we found ways to win, which was awesome. You want tough, tight games that kind of get you rolling. I felt like those were good games that prep us. Heading into the second round, we were confident. I felt like we were ready to go. Syracuse, they were able to elevate their play, and I felt like with our club, we fought execution the whole series, and you can go into the finer details of slow starts and falling behind all the time, which is, that's death when you're doing that, when you're coming from behind. But we ran into a team that was playing with a lot of confidence, very dangerous. With two of their three players really carried them the whole series. They're with Johnson and Pallet and Panic. They had really good D that were mobile and making confident plays. And again, for me, it was an execution issue for us. I just felt like we made the easy look really difficult this whole series, and I felt like we never gave ourselves a real chance to win any of the games, especially falling behind, and that puts your goalies in tough positions where they're feeling like they got to be perfect. Your players feel like we're always pressing the score, and I heard McLean from Ottawa, the head coach, say trailing hockey is losing hockey, and I fully agree with that, especially going through this last series.
When you look back at the regular season, a lot of positives. Falcons with a franchise record, 23 games above 500, 651 points percentage, tying the franchise record, 45 wins on the year. What did you think of the regular season?
Well, that is the positive stuff, and even the first round of playoffs was a lot of positive stuff. I mean, it's tough after, especially the day or two after of when you get swept, to feel good about the body of work, but you can't judge your whole season by 4 games. And I feel as though the players really put a lot of effort in the season. I feel like there was a culture change. I thought accountability went way up with our group. And I think along with that, and with the process, the wins came with it. And that's what happens when you do things, I believe, the right way over an extended period of time. And even when we lost players at the lockout, we were able to maintain a winning attitude, and not only the attitude, but continue winning, period. Going 9-2 after the next 11 games post-lockout. So, there was something special with this group, and another thing to be real happy about is how the players went and played in Columbus. I mean, at one point we had 8 or 9 guys there playing in their lineup while they were winning all those hockey games. So credit the players, how hard they worked, and being put into some pretty unique situations in the NHL and doing it at a high level. So you look back, it's easier now, more days out from the final game, and there was a lot of positives this year, but certainly fell short of our own expectations where we wanted to be right now.
Falcons, the primary affiliate of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and what does the future look like for the Blue Jackets and for the Falcons?
Well, I mean, if this year was a great indication of change, I felt like on both organizations. Columbus was probably struggling for identity for a while, for the last few years, and where they kind of stood, and they were trying to earn respect, and I felt like we were doing the same in Springfield. Being here 2 years as an assistant, you want to earn your respect. No one's going to give it to you, and I felt like Columbus did that. I felt like early on when they were winning, how they talked about Columbus was they felt like maybe their own team underperformed, or maybe they weren't playing as good as they should to beat them. And by the end, as they continued winning, they recognized that Columbus is putting in hard work, and their details were good, and they were a team that was tough to play against every night. And so they started to earn the respect, and I felt that was kind of our situation here, maybe early on, while they're talented, or can they last, can they maintain? And I think as the season wore on, along with the leadership that we had, and the demands that they put on each other, I felt like we started to garner some respect throughout the league of this is a team that's for real, and they work hard and they do things right. And that's how it's got to be. This is 1 year and everybody's excited about it, but next year's you got to do it again. And now, every season's measured in different ways. You get a 99-point season next year, I don't know. And Columbus, who knows where they're going to end up as far as points in production, but I feel like with process and culture change and accountability, you start to get more of a consistent team and a consistent identity, and that's what you need to create for consistent winning.
This was your first year as a head coach in the league, and personally, how did your season evolve?
Well, I don't like it as we or me. Sorry, it's a we thing, and I with anything, there's a lot of people that don't get a lot of credit that are behind the scenes, and I had two excellent assistants with Nolan Pratt and Jared Bednar, who, they're tireless workers. Their attention to detail is fantastic. They're very passionate about the game. They're focused, engaged. So they were a big part of our success. Our leadership group was fantastic as far as what we were trying to create as culture-wise. I believe that they were great examples of everything we were trying to do. With Ryan Craig, the Judries, Amadios, Helmer, Cody Bass, Nick Holden, and the list goes on. So it with success, it's never about one person. It never is, and even with loss, it's usually not one person's fault either, right? It's usually this is a team sport. Last time I checked, it's not tennis where you're playing one versus one, or golf where it's individual. So personally, I really enjoyed it. If you're asking me how the season went, anytime you win more than you lose, that's a good season. And I was happy that we could push this team to playoffs. And again, you end the way you do, you feel like you fell short of expectations. But weeks and days beyond that, you get to reflection, and usually you can look back and kind of sift out the positive more than the negative.
Congratulations on a great season for the Falcons. And again, you really raised the bar this year, Brad. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's the head coach of the Springfield Falcons, Brad Larsen. Thanks for joining us on Falcons TV.